If you try to scale your e-commerce brand using Facebook ads to multiple 7 figures and 8 figures, but you're struggling and the performance is going up and down, you don't really know why, then this video is for you. I've helped generate over 50 million of e-commerce revenue over the course of my career. I own e-commerce brands by myself that I basically scale up from zero, and now they're doing combined 900K per month. And I help a bunch of other e-commerce founders to do exactly what you're trying to do, which is to get to 8 figures a month and 8 figures a year and multiple 7 figures per year. Now, along the way, I've identified these 4 bottlenecks that most of the brands that come to me and look for advice are encountering. So I'm going to show you what these are and how you're going to solve them. It all starts with brands that don't have a competitive offer. And this is really a problem because ultimately we are competing, right? You're competing against other brands in the same niche. You're competing against other brands that target the same customer, right? And at the end of the day, people just have one wallet, and this wallet is not infinite, at least for most of the people. So we have to make sure that our offer is so competitive that it's interesting to a lot of people, and therefore also Facebook will push us in front of a lot of people, right? So how do we come up with a competitive offer, and how do I know if my offer currently is competitive? Now here it's important to understand we are running paid ads, right? So we are paying for the customers. And this is a very important point that we have to understand when we're formulating this offer. Now, I have conversations with e-commerce founders every single week, right? And just this week I had one where we were talking about their offer. Obviously, this is what I always start with. That's the very first thing. You can do everything right. If the offer is wrong, you will fail, right? So what they were doing basically is they were running ads to like a bunch of different products in the store, right? So with different AOVs. So they didn't really know what are the people actually purchasing. And they didn't have, like, let's say, one entry point into the brand, right? That just gives the people an amazing offer that is so good they would be stupid saying no, right? This is the kind of offer that we want to build. And their AOV was, I would say, like around 65, right? For new customers, which honestly, when our goal is to scale to multiple 7 figures and 8 figures in the US market, Canadian market, this is not a lot. This is not a lot, right? So the first thing that I'm looking for is that obviously it's different for every brand, but still I always try to understand or find a way how can I increase this first order AOV. So this is what I mean by being competitive. We have to be able to afford more for a customer than all of our competitors, right? So instead of trying to compete for these like small amounts with other brands that have like a $40 offer, $50 offer, instead of positioning us there, we just try to position ourselves closer to $100, right? So it could be 99 bucks. Okay. Now the question becomes, what do I have to put into this bundle so that, and this is the trick now, the real value of the bundle is actually 140 or 150 even, right? So what I want to do, and this is the core when it comes to having a competitive, attractive, irresistible offer, is to give way more value than what people pay for. Because that's what's going on in their minds, right? People they're not only making decisions based off of the absolute price, but they're making decisions based off of the discrepancy between the real value that they get and the price that they pay, right? So here, I'm getting 150, but I'm only paying 100. So all of this here, that's my magnet, so to say. This is the offer. That's why people convert. Now, if I here, let's say the AOV is 65, and the real value is 75, then this is my perceived savings, right? So the idea is to say we sell at a higher price, absolute price, but we give a way higher real value in terms of products, right? And this is where all of a sudden, in this case, for example, this will be a 33% saving, which is amazing. And here maybe we had like, I don't know, 10%. Okay? So even though this is absolutely more, this is just more attractive, right? And you're just having a better deal. That's what people are looking for. And this offer here allows us to spend potentially, depending on your margins, like anywhere between, I don't know, $30 to $60, right? So let's say $50. Here, there's no way we can spend $50, right? So this is the difference. We just sell at a higher point, but make it more attractive, right? So most of the times, this is a bundle, right? This is a bundle where you just bundle a couple of products together and add free gifts, so to say, so to increase this perceived value. Other ideas are that you basically put in also, for example, digital products, right? It could make sense to add a cookbook or something like that, right? That has a value of $20 if you buy it by itself, but in the bundle it comes for free, right? Or any other accessories. For example, if you have like a coffee brand, then you have a mug that you put in for free. I'm just giving you a couple of ideas, but this is the main principle, okay? All right, so very important, irresistible offer. Whatever you can to increase this perceived value, do it, because this will help you to sell at a higher price. Then, the next point, next bottleneck, no clear testing strategy. So, the other day I was talking to a founder. She was, and they run like a skincare company, skincare brand, and they ran through this like typical agency nightmare, right? And basically, one thing that I hear not only heard from her, but from a lot of other founders that I talked to, is basically they didn't have an idea what the strategy was behind testing. They had no idea, right? So what they did was, or what other people told them to do is, yeah, you have to do UGC. Just do UGC. This is what's crushing currently. Or they have to do some kind of like TikTok viral trend or something like that. But this is actually costing you a lot of money and time. And money is the one thing when you invest it, but it's also the opportunity costs, right? So your brand could be at 500K or $1 million a month already, but you're still like tinkering around at these like 100, 200K per month, because this obviously, and this are not dialed in. So just to give you an idea of that, all the brands that I've helped scale to 8 figures, my own brand that is now at an 8-figure rate, this will be at an 8-figure rate this month, we always have a clear testing strategy, right? Without that, it's impossible to scale to these levels, right? Nobody gets there just by luck, okay? So how do you test them? So we just talked about how you're not testing, okay? You're not testing by just like throwing some random stuff into Meta and praying that it works. What you want to have is you want to basically, you want to have like your creative testing strategy in 2 parts, okay? One is validating angles. So when you have your front-end offer, basically, that we just talked about, your competitive offer, you want to understand what are the angles that I can play with this, right? So behind every angle is, most of the cases, a customer avatar, whatever you want to call it. It's just like people that comment for a different reason, with a different main motivation. And that's the goal to find out first, because I don't want to spend all of the effort afterwards. This is what I call creative exploration. It's a process behind, which is like, okay, there are UGC, like you can have like TikTok style ads, you can have founder ads, you can have all these different types of ads. Most of the people, they just jump straight into this, and that's where you fail, right? Because you have no idea what are the angles, right? So what are the advertising angles? And the underlying principle is that people, like we as a consumer, we are selfish. We don't care about anything else. We don't care about your product. We just care about ourselves. And then we want to find out, how does this product help my pain point that I currently have, right? And that's what's on people's minds, right? So if somebody wants to, I don't know, like reduce their sugar cravings, right? That's a pain point, because they constantly have these cravings. They don't know what to do. So your product has to you clearly have to hook them in with this specific pain point, and you have to position your product so that it makes sense that this is the only viable solution for this pain point. That's where you will create flow, and this is where people will start to say, okay, this makes sense, I want to try this out, right? If you're advertising, even if your product not only solves cravings, but I don't know, solves like blood sugar levels or whatever it is, this doesn't matter to the people. To this person, it doesn't matter, right? So that's why we have to, and this is what people forget, we're advertising to specific people, right, in their feeds. So we have to speak to them as if we would speak to them on a one-on-one conversation, right? So this is very essential. Get the angles done first and get data and validation on what are the angles that make sense. And once you have that, then double down only on the angles where you saw this shows potential. Otherwise, I'm not doing this process. Never. This is just a waste of resources, because this is where you have to go out and you have to get content, right? You have to cut all the video creatives. You have to research creatives, right? So much effort is going into this. You really don't want to do this on something that doesn't show potential, okay? So make sure to validate the angles first, and then go into creative exploration. And then the last part is really that you basically scale production. Sorry for my handwriting. This is where you scale the production for the creative types that are proven. So again, you validate what are the creative types, and then you go into, okay, let's just go absolutely nuts on this, right? Let's do a bunch of different iterations. Let's just produce massive amounts of content. Let's make sure we never run out of this style of creative, right? So this is the creative testing strategy that enabled me to scale a bunch of brands to 8 figures, and also help 8-figure brands to, get their creative testing, let's say, more efficient. Okay. All right. Next thing. Know clear understanding of the KPIs. Another big one. Okay. So this is something that I talk about it in a couple of other videos, but the core is essentially you have to know what you're focusing on, okay? And I'm just going to show you the biggest pitfalls that most of the brands run into when running ads for the e-commerce. And this is just vanity metrics. And the biggest one is the one that you heard me talk about a lot, which is this guy here. This doesn't tell you anything about if you're doing the right things to grow your business. I say this all the time, right? And if you look at, and I can't do that, I have the data, I'm looking at brands that are doing 8 figures and that I know started from basically zero. And this is a big pitfall because you don't really know how what you're doing is contributing to you acquiring people that are continuously bringing value to your business, okay? So stop focusing on like vanity metrics, like return on ad spend on day one. This doesn't tell you anything. I'll tell you what you should do instead. You should definitely look at the new customer return on ad spend. This is already a little bit better, okay? So only look at what is the revenue today of my new customer, or let's say yesterday, my revenue of the new customers, not your overall revenue, only new customers, and what is the spend yesterday overall? Because this tells you how much, what is your new customer return on ad spend actually, right? And the same thing, the other thing is the new customer CPA, or just CPA. Doesn't really make sense to have new customer there, but anyway, sometimes it's called like that. New customer CPA, so how many new customers did you acquire yesterday and how much did you pay overall? Because this way you know how much did I pay per new customer, okay? So those are the metrics that you could look at, and this will tell you more about how your acquisition is doing than just taking like the ROAS from Facebook. This here you have a bunch of stuff mixed in. If you have like a successful email campaign, Facebook will just take credit for that. If you have like a huge press release, Facebook will take credit for that. You will see, wow, amazing ROAS of 5, let's scale. Stupid. You will be wasting money if you're not looking at this here, okay? So definitely make sure to look at these metrics rather than just return on ad spend. Still, I'm not 100% happy with that, right? So what I want to do is also to connect the acquisition with the, let's say, customer lifetime. And this is what I really would look at, is essentially the customer lifetime and CAC ratio. Okay, so how much customer lifetime value do you do? And what's the customer lifetime value of the people that you acquire, and how much did you pay to acquire them? This is one way. The more advanced way is to also factor in, and this is a little bit more difficult. I mean, I have sheets for that I give my the brand owners that I coach, and they just plug in a couple of numbers and that's it, right? But at the end of the day, you want to understand what's actually the customer lifetime profit and CAC ratio, okay? So how can I understand which customer is actually the most profitable one, that I can acquire over the long term? And this will help you to, go a little bit deeper into, who do I actually want as a customer, right? So it might be that you're advertising different products, and you don't see in the first sale which product makes you the most money over the next 3 months, 6 months. Now, I'm not advocating here that you lose money on the first sale. This is not what we do. We still want to be profitable on the first sale. This is what we do with our offer. But still, and the creatives obviously, but still, I want to understand which product actually gives me the highest chances of increasing my business value and my revenue and profits over the next couple of months. Because that's the difference between this growth curve here and this growth curve here. That is the difference, right? The difference is, how do you understand these metrics and where do you invest your money? If you don't even look at these metrics here and you don't even pay attention, you just look at this here, I can almost guarantee you that you will have this growth curve or even like a slower growth curve. And this costs you a lot of money, because all of this difference here, this is money that you should be making and you're not making it, okay? So very important, focus on the right metrics. Also like vanity metrics, like, yeah, this is like a good CPC and the CTR is good. As a business owner, I don't care. I couldn't care less. As long as these numbers are right, even if the CPC is 3 times higher, I don't care. I couldn't care less. Okay? Then fourth one, no full ownership. Ta-da! This is the one that is but in my opinion, is the most important one, because there is a problem out there, right? When it comes to like e-commerce and the agency world, right? A lot of brands, basically all of the brands that I'm talking to, were burnt by minimum 2 agencies, and they were just going through from agency to agency to agency. Every agency is promising you that they have like the magic pill, they found some kind of hack in the ads manager that you didn't heard of, they have some kind of new creative strategy, yada, yada, yada. The problem is, what they will do most of the times is they will only optimize, and this is again very important for you to understand as a business owner. Our goal as an e-commerce business owners is to grow the e-commerce business, right? But there's a problem in the, let's say, incentives, okay? This is Facebook. This is your business. Facebook is just one way, obviously, of scaling your business, but it has to work for your business, okay? And this is where it gets a little tricky, because yes, an agency, they can help you with setting up the ads. They can help you, if they're good, they help you with the offer also. But what they will do is their responsibility ends here. Okay, and this is the first sale. This is the first sale. This is the first purchase. That's where the responsibility of 95% of the agency ends. Okay, so that's where they say, I mean, the return on ad spend is good, and the ads manager looks good. Maybe they track even outside. Okay, they're in the like 5% or 10%, but still it ends there. But what I explained to you before is actually how you make money as a business, is that you acquire people, okay, but then you make them come back and back and back and back. This is where you make the profits. Now, if we choose the wrong person here, it might be stopping here. And this is crazy, because there are success stories of, where agency, and they obviously they will pitch you that, where they scale the business to like, wow, I don't know, 500K a month or 1 million a month. And then after that, it goes back to the baseline of the business. And this is what is, this is really a big problem, because if you're not looking into this, and if you let yourself being gaslighted by agencies that sell you this thing here, you will lose out on all of the other stuff. Okay, now people might say, yeah, but the time, and they're experts and they can do that. The problem is they're not they're not incentivized to go from end to end. Okay, they're not incentivized to think from here to here. This is what only you can do, right? So there is no other choice than getting educated on this stuff. Then what I help brands do is basically acquire, use their own existing team, use their own team. Then if needed, basically build an in-house team. So acquire 1, 2, 3 key people while you're scaling, right? So you're using the profits that you're gaining in order to build out your team. But then I'm telling you, you don't need that. You don't need the agency part. It's crazy, but you don't need it. Because a lot of the stuff that they do is just, they have to, show something that they worked to justify what you spend them on a monthly basis, right? So why not just do only the things that you need in order to scale your business, and not just think until here, but think from here to here. This is where you can get real business growth, and this is how I've helped a couple of brands scale to 8 figures without hiring a single agency, right? So very important point, take ownership. Take ownership. because this is stuff that nobody else can do for you. And this is what I see, where I see a lot of e-commerce brands just fail because they think it's easy, you know, you can outsource stuff to an agency, but they are never incentivized the way they should be in order for you to take the maximum capabilities out of this channel, Facebook ads. Quick recap, competitive offer. Make sure you have a competitive offer, high AOV, right? Really good savings and big discrepancy between real value and what they pay. Then no clear testing strategy. Make sure that you have a super easy, solid testing strategy. Angles first, then creative types, then you double down on whatever is working. Okay? Understanding of KPIs. Make sure you're not gaslighted by return on ad spend, but you really look at who do I acquire, all right? Think in customer journeys, not in just single purchases. Big difference, right? Last thing, full ownership, right? If you do it right and if you have the right guidance, you don't need an agency. And an agency can literally cost your business millions of dollars and years of time that you could have just scaled and just acquired the right customers for your business so that you can just grow month by month by month. And this is what I help brands do. So yeah, check this out. Let me know in the comments what you think and see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.